spokesperson for Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, has issued this statement. This relates to his Shadow Education Secretary, Rebecca Long-Bailey, also a contender for the Labour Party leadership, seen as the natural successor to Jeremy Corbyn, by Jeremy Corbyn's supporters at least. The statement reads, this afternoon Keir Starmer asked Rebecca Long-Bailey to step down from the Shadow Cabinet. The article Rebecca shared earlier today contained an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. This, we think, concerns an article, if not written by, then quoting a well-known actor. We'll get more on that for you later on. As leader of the Labour Party, Keir has been clear that restoring trust with the Jewish community is a #1 priority. Anti-Semitism takes many different forms, and it's important that we are all vigilant against it. So just to be clear, Keir Starmer has asked Rebecca Long-Bailey to step down. It doesn't actually say whether she's agreed to step down, but I presume it's been mutually agreed. But a significant development within the power structure and the balance of power within Keir Starmer's shadow cabinet, because Rebecca Long-Bailey, obviously one of the most significant left-wing figures within it. I think we can go to our chief political correspondent, John Craig, now, who was scheduled to talk about another story affecting the Tories, but instead I think John will talk about this. Strong action by Keir Starmer.
Yes, it's Rebecca Long-Bailey, who of course stood for the Labour leadership against Keir Starmer, was seen very much as the pro-Jeremy Corbyn candidate. Well, she has committed what clearly Mr. Sir Keir Starmer regards as something that's completely beyond the pale, unacceptable. Now, this is all to do with, as the spokesman for Keir Starmer says, an article Rebecca shared earlier today containing an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Now, my understanding is that she shared something from the actor Maxine Peake to do with a conspiracy theory about Israeli Secret Service or soldiers training US police in the way of kneeling on the neck of suspects in the way that George Floyd was killed in America. But clearly, Sir Keir has wasted no time in acting. Now, of course, this, as you've said, Colin, has big ramifications because, of course, it means that someone who is very close to the education unions at a time when Sir Keir keeps being taunted at Prime Minister's questions by Boris Johnson about Labour's support for the education unions and their opposition of getting children back to school, she's been removed. And it's probably quite likely that Sir Keir will want to replace Rebecca Long-Bailey with someone who perhaps is more, as some people in the Labour Party might say, more mainstream rather than a left-wing figure. But this has come right out of the blue, this story, because I think many people at Westminster probably were not even aware that Rebecca Long-Bailey had done what she'd done. Clearly, Mr. Sir Keir, who has, right at the beginning of his Labour leadership, when he was elected leader on the 4th of April, he said straight away, I want to apologise to the Jewish community for anti-Semitism. And here we have probably the most senior left-winger left in the shadow cabinet, sacked pretty unceremoniously, pretty swiftly, pretty abruptly for action which Mr. Sir Keir has regarded as anti-Semitic, and no doubt Rebecca Long-Bailey's supporters on the left will be cross about this, be pretty angry about it, but Sir Keir has shown that he is not going to tolerate any action from any politician in the Labour Party, no matter how senior, if it is deemed to be action or words or support for anything anti-Semitic. So this is a big development. It may well mean an altering of the balance of the shadow cabinet. I think it's probably pretty unlikely that another left-winger will get that education job now. A key job. When Sir Keir defeated Rebecca Long-Bailey, education was seen as quite a respectable middle-ranking post in the shadow cabinet. It was previously done by Angela Rayner, who, of course, is now deputy leader. Now, of course, he has a chance, if he wants to bring in a figure who's probably more loyal to him and not to replace her with another left winger. Pretty unlikely if he does replace Rebecca Long-Bailey with another left winger. But she has paid the price for what is deemed to be anti-Semitic conduct. Will she be a left-wing troublemaker on the back benches? Potentially, yes, because we already know that there are the likes of Richard Bergen, Mr Corbyn himself, Ian Lavery, who are probably not very happy with the way Mr Sir Keir is taking the Labour Party, the direction he's taking it. But now, right out of the blue, suddenly, his first big decision, if you like, on personnel. He has, some will say, ruthlessly sacked his main leadership rival, Rebecca Long-Bailey. But equally, there'll be plenty of Labour MPs who will applaud this and say he's done absolutely the right thing.
John, I'll just read you actually the tweet, because this is very much a conversation that's been conducted via Twitter. As you say, she referenced the article 5 hours ago. 2 hours ago, she added this, and this is her most recent tweet. Oh, there you go. I retweeted Maxine Peake's article, Maxine Peake, the actor, because of her significant achievements and because the thrust of her argument is to stay in the Labour Party. It wasn't intended to be an endorsement of all aspects of the article. That's timed as being posted 2 hours ago. So whether that's post the news that she was being ditched from the shadow cabinet or before that happened, it's unclear at this stage.